Hi, Siri. I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Good morning. It's a live edition, a hump day edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. Glad you're along for the ride. We'll have JC, we'll have Chris Harry from his world travels with your national champs behind the scenes. Get a lot of scoop from Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. Gator baseball defeats the semis, wins the series. I watched about 2 innings of that. They're going to need to win probably 12 to 13 of the next 18 games to make postseason play. So we'll see what happens. Let's go to the Titan MR Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We're joined by JC. Good morning. How are you?
All right. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm wonderful. JC, did you go to the celebration at Flavette Field yesterday?
No, I was busy. I was busy watching all those folks celebrating getting four. But I'm glad that that there was a celebration. I would have.
Well, the celebration, they're going to have one Saturday at the
right. I think that's the way to go too. You know, you have to kind of let this marinate a little bit and keep it alive for the next few days. And listen, they deserve everything they get. I had some friends say that who were in San Antonio tell me that they were partying it up after the game, a well-deserved victory and a well-deserved celebration afterwards. So I'm sure it's going to take a few days to come down from this high. And I think Saturday sounds like a great idea. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So we'll talk with Chris, get his thoughts on the entire season.
How about that?
A lot of the turnover that will happen with the basketball team from a roster standpoint. Also, the coaching staff got to replace 2 coaches, your offense and your defensive coordinator. So
yeah,
there'll be a lot of new faces.
Well,
Gator basketball
that's just tremendous. And I just want to put some perspective on this coming from Florida's basketball hour on X. The Gators won the national championship navigating a path that is tied for the toughest all time for a number 1 seed since tournament expansion back in 1985 when I was a junior in college. So the combined seed total, when you look at Florida's opponents in this tournament and through these 6 games, was 33. And that's just 1 seed number from the minimum of 32. And only North Carolina back in 1993 did that. So their path was damn tough, unlike Duke's. And I think Duke having such a soft year schedule-wise in the ACC tournament, and then, of course, in the big dance, may have hurt them when the pressure got turned up on them.
I'm going to disagree with that.
Are you?
Well,
why?
For 9 minutes, you can't score a bucket. I don't care if that's pressure or not.
Yeah.
That's not right. Pressure. Just you cannot score one bucket in 9 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think they
had a bunch of lottery picks.
Well, they just hadn't been challenged all year, QB. I mean, they lost a few games, but they hadn't been really pushed to the brink of a situation where there was no
Yeah, well, I mean, Cooper Flagg missed an 8-foot turnaround jumper to tie the ball.
He did.
He probably makes 9 out of 10 times.
But unlike Duke, QB, the Gators won the toughest conference in history.
I'm not arguing about that.
They defeated 4 AP top 11 teams and 2 tourney top seeds. They trailed by 9 points or more in the second half of the last 3 games. QB, Duke didn't have to ever go through that kind of adversity.
No, I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying Duke losing, in my opinion, had nothing to do with their conference. It was just they didn't make any shots.
Their overall body of work was not. I mean, it was impressive because they never got punched in the face hardly. Florida came back from behind the entire tournament, and it just showed more. I think it showed more mental toughness. Maybe that's a bad take, but I think there's something to it. When you get pushed and you come back, it gives you that confidence and the experience of having faced adversity. The Gators were 12-0 to end the season, and 10 of those games of those 12 were against ranked teams. I mean, you can't ignore all these little bullet points here. This shows Florida's character.
The bullet point is I said in January or December they were the best team in America, and they won.
I mean, I get that. You've been repeating this over and over again.
I know that, but you keep talking about these bullet points. I'm telling you, the bullet point was they won them games because they're the best team in America.
I'm giving you numbers.
I know, and the numbers back up what we're saying is they won because they're the best team, regardless if it was the conference, if it was the players, if they were challenged. They won because they were the best team is my point.
Well, you've made that very clear.
Yeah. All right, we got a text on the Titan More text line from James. He says, the University of Florida has won 16 straight national championships in 16 years. How about that? Pretty good. At least one. Alabama done that, JC?
Alabama doesn't care.
They don't care?
No.
Okay.
I don't think you'll find one fan, one alumni member that cares if they won a swimming title. I think it's nice.
Well, we didn't win a swimming title.
Whatever you want to call it. Lacrosse, swimming.
We didn't win either one of those.
What?
Golf, track, softball,
I mean, okay.
Baseball.
All right. You want to talk about SEC championships? You want to do that?
No, I'm just reading.
You want to talk about national
text message
championships?
said.
You want to do that? You want to go there? You want to talk about natties? You want to go there too?
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that.
Let's do that. How many you got? 3?
In what sport?
Huh?
In what sport?
In football.
Okay, we have 3. Y'all have probably a legitimate 8 or 9 because the other
You want
10
to talk about SEC
just voted on
championships?
by
You wanna
whoever
talk
wanted to vote back in those
Since you're
days.
into the comparison game today, you want to talk about SEC
I'm
championships?
not. I'm reading what the listener text. Okay, and you're getting mad at me.
What do
The
you
listener said that the Gators have won 16 straight national championships in 16 years.
No, and then you mentioned Alabama.
It was a
listener
joke,
didn't say
and
a
then
word about
you
Alabama.
can't take a joke.
It's a joke. Is anybody laughing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
Let's see here. Everybody says that the Gators were battle tested. That is a fact.
I made
But
that
I am
point
trying
about
to
5
say-
minutes ago, QB. You kind of blew it off because you're regurgitating the same thing you said since December, which we've already heard about 100 times.
Right. And
I'm bringing you
I'm
numbers.
backing that up because when you're the best team in America, it doesn't matter if you play in the WAC, if you play in the damn ACC, the SEC, the Big East, Mountain West Conference, the SWAC. If you're the best team, you're going to win the damn games majority of the time.
Not all the
That's
time.
all that matters.
Not
That's
all the
that
time.
matters.
You think Duke did Duke win a game where they were the best team? No. I mean, do you think Duke's better than Houston if they played 10 times?
I
Yes.
just said the
So the
Gators
best team doesn't
won
always win.
because they are the best team.
I get that, but the best team
I
doesn't
think
always
if
win.
Duke plays Houston 10 times, they win 8 of them. I
Right.
really do.
But so the best team doesn't always win.
No, the best
But-
team doesn't always win, but yes, were the Gators tested? Yeah, but the Gators had the Cooper Flagg could be the best player. I'll take Walter Clayton just against him as well. All right. Tommy in Savannah says on the Titan Mar text line, I once had the occasion to meet Pat Summerall. It was soon after he and John Madden moved from CBS to Fox. He asked what he missed the most about the move, and it was that he couldn't do the Masters anymore. I agree with that. Baseball wins last night. I don't know who this is from. Says the team is still awful. The worst Gator baseball team I've ever seen.
Well, I don't think that. I saw some Gator.
Well, it could
baseball.
be the worst team that Sully's had.
They could. I mean, you'd have to count 16 other teams, but they're certainly not a team that I think is going to play in May. I don't see it happening. And I don't. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but what's the point? I don't think they're good enough to get through anything. Last year was kind of different because we kind of felt badly about them. They then turned it on because they had a guy like Jack Cagley on. This guy, he's not on the roster anymore. So they don't have that one guy that can take over a game, in my opinion.
QC Connects for long-lasting relief, no surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Connects. All right, we're going to do our Peachland Dental Masters picks. Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Go check them out, peachlanddental.com. All right, JC, you pick first.
I'm going to pick first and go with, I think I'm going to go, let's see, I had I did a lot of these picks on Hard Rock yesterday. I laddered a lot of these golfers, meaning top 20, top 10, top 5, and winner. And one of the guys I laddered getting odds and who won the Bay Hill this year is not a guy I typically ever pick, but I think Russell Henley is poised to have a really good tournament because of how he's playing now. So I'm going to take Russell Henley. At worst, he's top 20. He'll probably finish somewhere in the top 10. And so I'll take him in this first pick.
Russell Henley.
Yep.
All right, I'll take Xander Schauffele.
Okay. Xander Schauffele. Another guy I'm laddering, and another Georgia Bulldog, who I think is one of the better iron players on tour, is Sepp Straka. And he is the guy that's going to be somewhere around that top 10, top 20. You can get him top 10 at 5-1. You can get him at top 20 at 2-1. And you can get him at top 5 at 11-1. So if he's in the top 5, that likely means he's got a chance to win. So give me Sepp Straka.
All right, I will take I'm going to take Robert McIntyre.
Okay. I have to take one live golfer. I don't know why, but the only live golfer that I think plays this course great, other than one former champion in John Rahm, is Brooks Koepka. So I'm going to load up on Brooks Koepka, top 5 at 6-1. And again, if he's in the top 5, he's got a chance to win. Give me Brooks Koepka. We're going to pick 5 golfers, QB.
Okay. I'll take Rory McIlroy.
Oh, you took my golfer.
Well, I mean, I don't know why you didn't pick him first.
Well, because I didn't think you were going to go near him because you never.
Because you picked all these other guys that ain't got a chance. So I want to get
all these other guys that ain't got a chance. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're the chalk guy now? Is that how it's going to go?
No, I got Robert McIntyre. I don't even know what
what?
Do you even know where he plays out of, JC? Where he's from?
I'm going to take one of his European partners, and that's Shane Lowry. Another guy I laddered.
All right, so that's 4 golfers.
Yeah, you took my guy that I've been picked. I've been saying he was going to win this tournament.
You have plenty of opportunities to take
he was going to win this tournament for a month, and you jump on him like that.
No, I mean, you didn't pick him. That's your own fault.
You'd be ashamed of yourself.
You should have picked him first.
I picked him since March.
I want to take Cam Smith, but I don't know if Cam Smith's even been playing.
You're not going to
charity events.
Cam Smith, that guy's disappeared.
I'm taking Patrick Cantley because he can play.
Okay, and you talk about ain't got a chance. All right,
best putter on tour.
No, he's not. I'll take. Well, then fine. You take Rory. I'm just going to take Scotty Scheffler. Then hell with it.
All right, there you go.
I'll go with America. You go with Europe. I'll be an American.
I'm going to take one more pick.
Even though I took Lowry.
I didn't take any. I haven't taken any live guys.
You were about to take Cam Smith till I talked you out.
I like Cam Smith, but I don't know if he's been playing any. You don't ever know if those guys have been what those guys on live do.
No,
they don't play. I'll take Morikawa.
Yeah, I was just going to say, why don't you take Colin Morikawa? I mean,
Yep. All right. So to recap, the Peachland Dental picks. JC has Russell Henley, Sepp Straka, Koepka, Shane Lowry, and Scotty Scheffler.
I mean, your boy's Koepka. I mean, you love him. He's your favorite golfer.
But until he comes and competes, he's got to come compete with the big boys. He's playing in the minors right now.
Yeah,
you got 2 Georgia Bulldogs on your roster, George.
It's funny. They're the minor league for sure, but they pay.
Yeah, I got Xander, Robert McIntyre, from Scotland, Rory McIlroy, Patrick Cantley, and Colin Morikawa. So I have 3 Americans, 2 Europeans.
Well, if Rory wins, I'm claiming credit. You don't get it because I've been.
You had just as many opportunities to pick him as I did.
Just like you've been reminding the world in America how great the Gator basketball team is, and they are. I've been telling you McIlroy is going to win this Masters and get the career Grand Slam, QB. You took my guy.
Rob wants to know on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plum, is Tiger in? No, Tiger's got a blown Achilles.
Yeah.
Something. Who knows what? CRB says, don't sleep on Harris English, another Georgia Bulldog.
I appreciate that, CRB, but I'm sleeping on him.
And there's another one. Harmon, another Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah, Harmon won last week.
Yep, he did for sure.
He's a winner.
Yeah,
guy wins golf tournament. He's look for a couple other guys that could really get it out there pretty well. Comes down to putting like Minwoo Lee.
So JC, let's do this.
Wow. He's really good.
I think Bernhard Longer is the oldest guy. I think he announced this is his last year he's going to play.
Yeah.
He's got to be like almost 70.
Yeah.
And are there any other old dudes in it?
Well, Jose Maria, I think, is playing.
Who do you think is going to shoot the highest score?
Yeah.
The first 2 days.
Yeah. That used to be such an easy pick because Sandy Lyle
Arnold was playing.
Well, Sandy Lyle played, it seemed like every year, and I don't think he's in the field. This is tough because some of the older guys I think are missing this year. And I think they've seen that maybe it's just kind of an exercise in futility, even though it's always nice to go back to your biggest win destination.
Yeah, Jose Maria is playing, Freddie's playing, Mike Weir's playing.
Yeah.
And Bernhard Longer.
I'd say
beat all of those guys.
I'm going to say probably Jose. I don't think Jose Maria can play this course anymore. He doesn't hit it very far. I'll tell you who might have a former champion who is not very old. He's somewhat old, but a former champion who just got out of jail is playing in this tournament. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Angel Cabrera. I think he just won on the senior tour, didn't he?
Yeah, he may have, but he was in jail. He just got out of jail in Argentina. And I guess they let him hit balls out of his, out of the penitentiary. And he's in the field, teeing off at 11 o'clock this morning. How about that? You go from an Argentinian.
Tomorrow, you mean?
Tomorrow, excuse me. You go from an Argentinian jail to Augusta National. That is a trip right there.
I should have picked Aaron Rye. He's gonna be.
Well, why don't you swap him out for Rory? Since
No, I'm taking Rory just to piss you off.
Well, you succeeded.
Kanye Ron says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Gators finished number 6 in defense in Ken Palm. I wonder if our second half D was number 1. About the last 10 minutes, we got after it.
Unbelievable.
About it.
Unbelievable how good their defense was. I rambled on that yesterday. Just went on and on and on about their defense. I think that's what won them the tournament. Of course, some clutch free throw shooting and obviously some clutch 3-point shooting. Like I said, Clayton, he won the game with Texas Tech and UConn, and I think Hawk had a lot to do with it. And then, in this game with Houston, once Clayton went out of the game with 11 minutes to go, the other 3 really stepped up. Martin, Aberdeen, Hawk. It was a total team effort, total team win. They should have a parade. And let's just go ahead and cancel school. We do that every year, before Florida plays a homecoming football game. Just cancel school on Friday and go do a parade down University Avenue for your newest national champions, who have now won 3 championships since 2020 or 2000, the year 2000. And only they have won 3 national championships and 3 football championships. Am I right about that? In the last
Say it one more time.
Only Florida's won 3 in both sports.
You're correct.
Since 2000. Yeah.
I think ever.
Yeah. Maybe that's right too. Yeah.
Yeah. Barone 71 on YouTube, brought to you by Qualcomm, says, how accurate is Bostic on PGA Tiger Woods golf? I play it on my game occasionally, but never have played the actual. I couldn't tell you. I didn't even know you could play that golf course on video games. I don't play video games, Barone, so I have no idea.
Yeah, can't help you there, Barone.
Yeah, Tom on the Titan MR text line wants to know if anybody took Billy Horschel. No, we didn't take Billy.
Billy hasn't. The Seattle Mariners struck out 19 times yesterday.
That's not good.
19 strikeouts for the Seattle Mariners against Houston. They lost 2-1. Yeah. So
who was pitching?
Just some younger guys for the Astros, and the Mariners can't hit. That's the team right now that everybody's talking about that cannot hit the baseball. I can't put it in play even. I'm keeping up with baseball for whatever reason right now. I
Yeah,
know.
I'm curious why.
Well, Hard Rock has something to do with that,
Hmm.
but but I just got to reiterate, if you missed it earlier, this path that Florida navigated, basically being the toughest of all time since 1985, as a number one seed in the tournament. It's really remarkable. And they were the fourth overall seed and ended up being the one cutting down the nets. It's going to take a long time for those guys in Houston to get over this one.
Oh,
It really is. Those kids were so broken after the game, and they said that poor guy Emmanuel Sharp was inconsolable in the locker.
yeah, it's a tough way to lose.
And in a
To
way,
not even get a shot off.
with the clock running down, it's almost like, and I'm not saying what he should or shouldn't have done because it was in the heat of the moment, but I wonder if he had just grabbed the ball and tested the official to call traveling and just tried to throw the ball up there to the basket. But
Well, you just your instincts know that when you do that,
you can't pick it
touch
up.
the ball.
Walter Clayton, Walter Clayton forced that mistake just with his defense. He was kind of jumping right by him, and I think it made Sharp panic. But I didn't like the play Houston ran, frankly. I would have tried to get the ball.
Well, I think we defended it pretty well. That's why.
No question about it. Florida defended it great, but I didn't think Houston had any intention whatsoever to get it inside. They only needed two, but they were always going to shoot for the three, and that's fine. But I think your percentages are better if you try to get down low. They would have gotten a whistle. It's hard to believe that Florida had the first 5 whistles in the second half. And then we had 26 whistles total in the second half. And Houston, basically, Florida got to the bonus before Houston, even after getting 5 whistles to start the second half. It was kind of weird the way the game was called.
Taylor says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello, Max Homa to win the Masters. Book it. He's struggling right now. Wouldn't you say, JC? Or have you
I would
been
say
following Max Homa?
Well, I agree with that. He hasn't been anywhere near the leaderboard.
He's had trouble making cuts. Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello, you traded down your pick, JC. That's the consequence.
I traded it down. Yeah. Well, okay, but I still like him. I like him a lot to win this week. I just love the way he's playing. 2 wins, hitting the ball as well as he's hit it, and actually putting the ball well. I think he's definitely gotten over that U.S. Open disappointment quite nicely. And I think Rory right now is the best player on the world. I mean, right now, today, he's number 1 to me.
This is a great question from Dan on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello. Was the 1983 game or Monday's game worse as a Houston fan?
That's tough. I would say this one because in this one, you've already had 6.
Well, this one because I don't. All I remember is the last play against Phi Slam and Jamma, right?
Yeah.
But people forget Houston had a 12-point lead in the second half.
Yeah, no, it was in the bag with the way they played defense. Florida couldn't throw it anywhere. It was meant to be for the Gators, dude. It's just this was their year. That's all you can say. It was their year. 4 losses, all in the conference, and only really one bad game, in my opinion, at Tennessee, February 1st. That was it. Other than that, Florida played spotless basketball for most of all of the year, 90% of the year. 90% of the year they played great basketball, and that's how you win it. You just keep playing well. And they came back. And I don't care what you say. I think adversity is something that matters, and I think Florida answered it, and the team like Duke didn't, because the team like Duke didn't have to. And when they had to, they didn't know how to. That's how I think about it. And
no, I agree. I agree with that, but we got to remember Duke blew a 12-point lead or 14-point lead, whatever it was. But Duke did not score a bucket. I don't know how that is possible for over 8 minutes.
Yeah, they gagged. That's how you
I don't know, they gagged. He just couldn't put it in the down.
Kind of like a pitcher who can't throw the ball over the plate. It gets into you. It's a real thing. I really believe that. Now, Houston had a lot to do with that, with the way they play, but Duke had them buried and gone. They were dead and buried. It was over. And, Duke can sit around saying, well, we were the best team all year long. We should have won it. Yeah. I mean, I know you should have, but you didn't because you didn't play for it. So really you shouldn't have. But they're Duke. So they had the easiest path.
Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it. We stand by it. A few more minutes with JC, then we'll have Chris Harry. We'll get his recap of the entire season and where the program goes from here moving forward. Asa asked, JC is a degenerate gambler? No, JC just likes to have fun on the app.
Yeah, degenerate Asa. I'll be out there on today. I'll be under I-75 with my coffee cup. If you're driving by, look for me. I'll have a Florida Gator hat on, Asa. You can drop a couple quarters in there for me. Maybe I can go afford a Tootsie Roll. So help me out, will you, please? And if you can't find me underneath the interstate, you could probably catch me by the Fresh Kitchen and the Burger King on the same road. I just go from one spot to the next, Asa. I do it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, bud. So come on down. Come on down. Yeah, I like the Hard Rock. I think it's wonderful that we have an opportunity to do what most of the rest of the country can do. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Franklin says Gator fan expectations are going to be extremely high. Well, they should be, but I think, you kind of bought yourself some time. Look, we're losing 3 really good basketball players.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And you're losing 2 really good coaches that people don't really know much about them, but obviously one ran the offense, one ran the defense, and Todd's got to replace those guys. So we'll get some dudes out of the portal. No question about it.
This guy, listen, he can find the talent. He won it in his 3rd year. I mean, that's true. Isn't that amazing? Don't you find that amazing? Think about where this program was when they hired Todd Gold, right?
Yeah.
And in 3 years, in his 3rd year, he hadn't won a NCAA game until this tournament. And now he wins 6 in a row. I think he knows exactly what he's doing and what he wants. And the way he brought offense to this program after we had to pull our eyes out watching Mike White's teams. And now you got somebody exciting. The Gator Nation showed up in Texas. It was just a tremendous effort for the fan base and a tremendous effort for the program. I think everybody got on board at the same time, and that's the magic you can create when you're trying to win a championship. I see it. I've seen it before.
Asa wanted me to let you know he was just kidding, Jason.
I know you were, Asa. I'm having fun with you too, bud.
But Tim says the stocks are so bad.
I'm glad you watched your show. I want you to keep watching and listening. I appreciate the ribbing. I do.
Tim says, though, on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, the stocks are so bad, JC's under I-75. They will be fine. They will be fine.
Have you seen the Chinese yuan crash? I mean, it's crashing right now.
Yeah, I do not worry about any of that. So you can't control it.
Well, I think this is a lot of self-infliction that we're seeing right now, but I think he feels it's necessary. I haven't really studied currencies and tariffs that often, and I don't know how to handicap this, but we're learning as the days go by, apparently, and it hurts. But
it'll all come back.
You're right.
Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, ESPN has the Gators in the way too early poll for next year at number 19.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think they got Houston as the number 1. Houston must have a lot of guys coming back.
I think you got to say Duke, throw Duke up there too.
Duke's going to lose half their damn team, JC, to the NBA.
You should see the other half, bro. It's probably just as close.
All right.
They'll be fine.
All right. Well, have a good day under I-75,
be-
JC. We're going to go to Chris Harry and talk hoops.
All right. Drive by now. I'll be out there.
Let's JC join us on the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We'll come back and we'll discuss the national champions with Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, Dave & Buster's, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Unleash the Inferno.
Naysayers, setbacks, injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios, Miapolatin Cafe. Discover the ultimate Cuban culinary experience at Miapolatin Cafe. 5 locations in Gainesville and Alachua, and you're never far from the best Cuban food north of Miami. Back to the Titan Number Highline, courtesy of Comfort Sound. Good friend of the program who's been working his tail off about as hard as the basketball team. Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. What's up, my man? Where's your national championship gear? Your daughter take it off?
No, hopefully maybe I'll get some off the secondary market. I just realized that 19 of the last 28 days I've spent in a hotel until I got to sleep in my own bed last night. So
I was curious about that.
But obviously that's a good thing. When you think about it, I think Florida probably of all the teams in the Final Four, I mean, I don't think it's any question because they came out of the West, traveled the most. If you think of Raleigh, you think of San Francisco, and then back out to San Antonio, and then we roll in Nashville the week before in the SEC tournament. But pretty exhausting, but obviously well worth it. As soon as the team landed yesterday, they bust right to that thing at Flavette Field, and the reception was unbelievable. And from what we understand, they're going to do something before the spring game on Saturday, and that should be something that should get more people in the stands. Also,
will it be at the football stadium or in the
they're working on some kind of gator walk with them, maybe into the stadium or something like that. Which the fact that football team is willing to share that spotlight, I think, is makes a lot of sense. And obviously, this team is going to be beloved for a long time, much like those 06, 07s. And we'll have a conversation about where Walt is, I'm sure, in the annals of Florida Gator athletic folklore.
Yeah, Chris, you've been covering basketball for a long time, and we've talked about it during the whole, throughout the whole course of the season. It still just amazes me how these kids all I don't know if get along is the correct term, but you've been around teams and sports teams for many years. There's always some of these jealous type guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not with this team at all. And I just think that is just tip your hat to every individual player and all the coaches, how they've kept everyone together for the one vision of winning.
Common goal, yeah. And I don't remember. I've been on so many radio shows and spoke to so many people the last couple of days, but there's no cliques on this team. I mean, I'm doing what I do and being around team meals and meetings and see them hanging out in lobbies of hotels and all that stuff. You see that over the course of time. But I mean, it's the eclectic nature of how they hang out. There's no rhyme or reason to it. If you see, you walk in, you see Walt and Will sitting there eating with the walk-ons. I mean, it's just very organic the way it all goes. And every answer, when you ask Walter Clayton about stuff, he goes, because we love each other. And I know people roll their eyes, whatever. Maybe it had a lot more to do with ball screen defense than something else. But that's all. Chemistry is all part of it, man. You know that. Culture is all part of it. Starts at the top. And Todd's ability, we've talked about all year, and got a lot of national attention during the NCAA tournament roster construction. A part of a big part of that is, can this guy get along with that guy? And he let Walt and Will police that when Elijah Martin came for that visit, because they knew how important that guy was going to be. They had to have that defense difference maker. They had to have another battle tested guy, and obviously it's funny. Elijah had won, what's it, 60 games as a college player. He's got 105 wins as a college player the last 3 years. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's a winning player, obviously. What is his record in NCAA tournament games? 10-1.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? But yeah, to your point, all the stuff that you see is genuine, and the way they celebrated was all very genuine. And like we talked off the air, seeing them go on a boat ride, I wasn't able to see it because I was working, but the video of that boat going up the San Antonio River, great place for that venue, by the way. And I couldn't imagine a better place for Florida to win a national championship for the fans and all that than San Antonio, Texas. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that because I went to when we played in Indianapolis and won it, and then
That's a great place too, also.
in
Yeah.
Atlanta and won it. But I've been to San Antonio 2 or 3 times for different events or whatever, work or what have you. And just seeing the pictures and stuff, I'm thinking San Antonio might be the best place for the Final Four because you have that river walk there, and it's just so
hmm
much to do. It's so close to the arena.
hmm
I mean, you said Indianapolis is a great place to have it as well.
I think it is because everything's so close. I mean, these are destination convention kind of venues. New Orleans, you could probably roll into there, although New Orleans has its pluses and minuses. San Antonio is ideal, and the Riverwalk is spectacular. And I remember going to it in the '90s. What they've done to it, it was great. It was really cool then. I thought unique, but how they have it all set up for the Final Four and all the activities going on around it, and at the location of it and everything. Every team hotel was right on the Riverwalk. Just there was plenty for people to do. It was really, really good.
Yeah. Andy's question for you on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Chris, did anyone mention what was discussed in the players' huddle after Chinyelu got the technical foul?
I was on the airplane yesterday, and I went back and watched the game last night and saw what happened. And I guess it's because he slammed the ball, right?
Well, that's it. But the announcers, and I don't know if they're correct or not. I think Grant Hill said this. If he slammed the ball and he
Yeah,
had
if it
caught
goes over the head, yeah,
if he
that's right.
caught it, it would have been no
Yeah.
technical.
No, you see, no, because you see that a lot.
Yeah.
But he slammed the ball, and like Martin and Elijah and Walt were given. He was showing. First of all, he didn't think it was a foul. Whether we can debate that, it probably was. But I mean, he showed. I mean, it's not a foul. He's not a foul. They're like, man, if you're going to get a tech. Not just slam the ball. Get your money's worth for it. Which
Right.
I don't. I'm not going to pretend to know what that means. But it probably means get a tech. Say your piece. The bench tech was I thought was deserved because I was actually looking at the bench with how they reacted, and I think it's a little more the demonstrative nature of what they did was a little more pronounced. The way that if you jump up on a stage, that's basically because the benches are below. These guys just hopped up and they're screaming and yelling bench tech, but I thought the referees were a little aggressive on some things, but some of those were fouls. I thought on Florida when I just watching the game. You miss so much when you're there, even being front row and center to see the game unfold. To come back and watch the game, I got a better look at it to watch it on TV like you did.
Do you think I want to ask you about, Tide's losing both his OC and DC. Who you think going to replace? Are they going to bring somebody in or promote or whatever? But do you think Tide, I mean, when you look at the Texas Tech game and then this Houston game, the way that these two teams defended us on the perimeter, don't you think, I mean, thank goodness, I mean, when we win the national title, but he's going to be able to learn from that moving forward about how teams are going to try to defend his perimeter play because I thought Texas Tech was phenomenal, but when I saw what Houston was doing to us, it was incredible.
Yeah, but Florida's not going to have a player like Walter Clayton Jr. So
Well, good point.
Houston's whole game plan was to ball screen him, hard hit, get the ball out of his hands and make someone else beat him. And if were it not for Will Richard, we're having a different conversation probably right now because the game's probably not close in the first half. Walt eventually figured some things out, got loose a little bit. But the assistant Johnson Sapphire is going to be one of them. Whether he takes over as offensive or defensive coordinator remains to be seen. I mean, he's well versed at both sides of the floor. He'll be fine if they tab him for one or the other. They have some names, they have some ideas. They're not just going to go pluck a coach. They have a specific idea of what they want from coaches, and all of them are going to be a little nerdier than the next guy. Okay, because they all have to think like Todd does, and which means if you go on down the group a little bit, when it comes to in-game strategy and prep and recruiting and all that stuff, they all have to think a little bit differently. So I'm sure that's something that will be announced in the next few days, I would imagine. It's funny. I at breakfast yesterday. I asked Hub Day, it was 8 hours from national championship ago, how are the Lions doing today? The mighty
Yeah.
Columbia Lions. He goes, we're about to find out, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to go
He
ahead
was
and
he was like I think we get 8 players back. I'm not sure that's a good thing.
yeah.
They all want to come back.
You may want to replace them all. So I'm going to be
Right.
like a normal fan here. Okay. Looking at next year, like
Right.
everybody wants to,
Yeah.
it's over with. We're going to move forward.
Mhm.
Obviously, you lose 3 tremendous players, the senior guards. I don't think anybody loses their eligibility, but there could be some guys that want to go play elsewhere or may get opportunities elsewhere. But I know CI's kid is coming in.
Mhm.
What other what other guys we got coming in from high school right now?
They signed Alex Lloyd, who played down in South Florida. He played on the club team with the 2 Boozer twins that are going to Duke. He was the
Okay.
point guard on that team. But of those 2 guys, I would think that Cornelius Ingram's son is the guy who's going to get instant rotation minutes. Denzel Aberdeen obviously has to take on a bigger role. They got to put some help in around him. You fans only saw, scrub time minutes from Isaiah Brown this year. He's a good player. He's
Mhm.
gonna be a guy who's gonna play real rotation minutes next year. But they do got to get a couple more guards, and just they're going to play differently. And to your point where you asked a little while ago about Houston, how Texas Tech, all that was geared up. How are we going to guard Walter Clayton Jr.? Well,
Yeah.
take him out of the mix and think more along the lines of how you're going to guard a more conventional team that you don't have. To your point, the greatest player in Florida basketball history. Okay, running around with the ball in his hand. Ball usage for Walter Clayton Jr. I think it's a stat on Ken Palm. I think it was around 24 or 25%. Really, really, that's like in the top 20% in the country. So I don't know if they'll have a guy like that. I don't know what's in the transfer portal right now. And honestly, the Gators weren't doing stuff like that. They weren't messing with that because stuff like that leaks out. It would have killed the chemistry. I don't know who I'm sure they have ideas right now. We'll find out. I mean, we probably know something next few days about some new players that are coming here.
How many, I mean, is there like an amount of portal players we can bring in, or is it unlimited? Because if you bring in
Mm,
so many, then you got to cut some guys, right?
yeah, but I would imagine that. I mean, they're going to have these exit meetings, and there's some guys that have to make some. So those guys that didn't play a lot at the end of the bench. What do they want to do?
Right.
And unlike that first year when Todd first got here, he asked those guys, and guys said, they want to come back. I want to come back. Well, he learned from that first year. Maybe it's not their decision whether they want to come back, and that's. I mean, those guys that I'm talking about right now, or some of the guys you talked about earlier about the great chemistry, and they were great teammates. He saw guys that didn't play a second. That Urban Klabzar is a great example. I mean, he middle of the season they needed him to play when they had that run of injuries in the backcourt with Elijah and Walt. I mean, he delivered, but once the tournament started, that rotation shrank. Urban Klabjar is going to have a significant role on the team next year. But there's some other players just sitting down there with him that may want to, go explore other opportunities.
Ace's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mental Law. He wants to know your thoughts about Elijah Martin with making an NBA roster. Let's add Will Richard to that as well. Your thoughts on those two guys. We know Walt's going to have an opportunity. He's going to be drafted. I said, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, somebody asked about Elijah. I said, look, I don't know if he fits what the NBA wants to do, but I think he can make a really good living playing overseas. Um, but who knows? I mean, what do you think?
I think Elijah had a chance for a two-way contract last year. So again, two-way contract's not an ideal situation, but guys can make a lot of money overseas, as you know. Some really good Florida basketball players never made it to the NBA. And sometimes you get over there and you kind of like it over there. Scotty Wilbekin could be on an NBA roster right now. But I talked to Lee Humphrey about this. Lee Humphrey played 9 years overseas. Yeah, there's about 10 to 12 guys in Europe who play over there that make what he goes, you make great bank. Scotty Wilbekin's one of them. So it's hard to be that guy. But you can make it, and they pay all your expenses. You get a car and all that stuff for your family and stuff. So it's a little different how things are over there. Elijah Martin will be fine playing overseas. Will Richard, he's a great example of a guy, kind of like Walt, but on a different level. When they went through the NBA stuff last year, I mean, you have to guard better. Will Richard's defense this year just took an unbelievable leap. I mean, using his length and his hands and his quickness, and he impacted that game and this NCAA tournament title run the other night. Man, they don't win the championship without Will Richard this year. They don't have the season they had without Will Richard this year, and I think he might have been a little. I don't know if he's been as I wouldn't say underappreciated, but let's remember what his contributions were for this team this year, especially from on and off the floor.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. He made some big plays the last couple of possessions on defense for sure.
Big shots in the first half.
Yes. You think Condon and Hauk both come back?
Let's see what they go through the NBA process. I think they probably will.
What is tell us real quick what the NBA process? They don't really actually go through like the combine camp or anything like that, or do they?
So they don't. Well, they go and they work out in front of guys.
Okay.
Administrators, executives, coaches, and stuff, and they get feedback. They say you're this level, you're this level, you're this level. It's kind of like the NFL a little bit. And then they make their decision. But now, I mean, if someone's told you're a second round draft pick, for example, you're guaranteed nothing relative to a contract. Either those guys come back, they're going to be guaranteed something relative to a contract after their performance and what they've done. Both of those guys love being at the University of Florida. But of course, both of them have ambitions for what they want to do. I would say there's a better than 50% chance both of them are back, but things can change. And I obviously, if Thomas comes back, I think he's the starting 3-man next year, because I think he's the kind of guy with the work. He's going to start working on his shot, his handle. He can do so many things. He's much better. He can handle the ball. He can run with it. He's a good passer. I think if he works on all those things, I mean, he could be, if he came back, maybe even like a preseason All-American or something like that. Certainly high accolades for a preseason All-SEC.
I agree. I think out of the bigs on our team, in my opinion, he's got more upside for the NBA game because he can handle, he can shoot, he can pass.
He can run all day too.
Yes.
Runs the floor. I mean, and that's what they want to see up there. And if he starts working, I mean, he just a great example, microcosm is they said, Thomas, man, this last year, you got to be a better free throw shooter because you're such a hard driver. You're going to get fouled a lot. And what does he do? He goes from a 46.7 free throw shooter to 81% free throw shooter.
Was he that bad last year? I don't remember him being that bad.
46.7. He didn't go to the line a lot because his minutes were, he's 3.5 points, 3.5 rebounds a game. But I think he'd come back next year and be like a 14-point, 8 rebound guy. So, and obviously what he does on the offensive glass is incredible.
Are we gonna get Micah to practice his free throws this offseason?
Ooh. I mean, he has a good sense of humor. You could probably joke with him about it, but my God, I mean, you just don't think there's any chance.
Zero.
When he,
Zero.
And he does work on them. I mean,
Yeah.
they have a thing, and John Andrzejczyk has this thing called free throw therapy where you got to make X amount, you have to X amount of swishes and stuff. And I remember last year, it took him an hour to finish it up, but I mean, he tried. So yeah, he needs to work because he's going to be playing a lot next year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Chris, been a long year, been a hell of a year. And we appreciate you coming on here and recapping everything for us. And I don't know if you're going to get any rest or time off, but you'll probably be back over at softball here quickly, huh?
Softball will be getting up to it in a few weeks.
Are we going to get Rothrock back?
Has she already been back?
She pitched one game against Auburn, but she didn't pitch at all last week against Arkansas.
Okay, well you're a little more in tune to it than I am right now. I'll get caught up, but I will say I did see Tim Walton and his wife out in San Antonio. Excuse me. Yes. Yeah, they were out there. They were engaged, but Keegan Rothrock's name did not come up in our conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, Chris, good stuff. We appreciate your time, my friend.
Hey, man. See you.
That's Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. Join us on the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tim. There are many car washes in Gainesville, but only one Gallo Car Wash. Locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on Northwest 13th Street, Southwest Wilson Road, and coming soon to Jonesville. Tomorrow we'll have Brent Beard and we'll have Mike Morgan get his thoughts on this national championship. Probably talk a little draft with him since he likes the draft. Have a great day, folks out there. Enjoy the Par 3 contest if you watch it. And it all starts tomorrow at Augusta. Take care.